Anyone who has been devoured alive by a giant centipede the size of a school bus knows that these creatures swallow their prey whole, they never tear it apart. Yet here I am, swallowing a 3-foot centipede alive. It is loaded with lethal venom, and the burning pain tearing through my throat is unbearable. But I have to, because when the purple mist spreads across the earth and most of humanity mutates into monsters, the centipede I am swallowing right now will become the Venom Centipede, a triple S rank calamity origin. The only way to evolve alongside it is to consume it first. I have been reborn 2 hours before the apocalypse begins. I sprint to the West Campus warehouse where the centipede is kept, only to find a rusted iron gate blocking my way. I check the time. Less than 2 hours left. I slam both fists against the gate. Open up, now! The guard inside hears the noise. He glances at me and waves me off with a scowl. West sector's closed. Construction. No students allowed. Go back. I don't waste a word. My eyes sweep left and right and lock onto the emergency box mounted beside the guard post. Without hesitation, I drive my fist through the glass. Shards slice across my knuckles. Blood runs down my hand. I ignore it. I reach in and pull out the red fire axe. The guard yelps and topples backward off his chair. He scrambles away on all fours. What are you doing? Someone help. He's got an axe. I swing the axe straight into the padlock. Sparks fly. 1 strike. 2. The heavy thud echoes across the empty campus. On the 5th blow, the old rusted lock snaps in two and clangs to the ground. I kick the gate open and stride through, axe in hand, blood still dripping. I push into the overgrown West Campus. Behind me, the terrified guard fumbles for his radio with shaking hands. Hello? Security office? We've got a situation. There's a maniac with an axe. He just broke into C sector. Call the police now! I kick open the unlocked door of the abandoned warehouse. My eyes go straight to the far end of the room. A dust-coated glass terrarium sitting on a battered lab bench. I walk toward it fast. My hands are trembling as I lean over the glass and shove the rotting wood aside. The moment it moves, a massive centipede, jet black and glossy as long as a grown man's forearm, coils up fast. Hundreds of amber legs churn wildly through the air. Its razor-sharp fangs snap open and shut in warning. This is the Venom Centipede, the future Calamity-class creature, the monster that will one day wipe out an entire military regiment. I stare at it, and my eyes burn with the hunger of a man who has found the greatest treasure in the world. There you are. I reach out to grab it, but my hand freezes midair. Those fangs carry enough venom to kill. In my pathetic human body right now, one bite and I drop dead on the spot. I pull myself together fast. I need to pull those fangs first. I scan the room and spot a pair of rusty forceps and an empty specimen jar. I use the forceps to pinch a dead cockroach and dangle it in front of the centipede. The centipede launches itself like a spring and clamps down on the cockroach. In that exact instant, my other hand shoots in and pinches the centipede 3 inches behind its head plate. It thrashes violently. Its long body coils around my arm in an instant, and hundreds of sharp legs dig into my flesh, raking dozens of bloody lines across my skin. I don't even flinch. I actually laugh. You think this hurts? Try being eaten alive. I pin its head down hard against the lab bench. My other hand snatches up the rusty forceps. I jam them against its twitching red fangs and squeeze hard. The left fang snaps off clean. Black venom sprays out, hitting the bench and hissing into white smoke. Same move. One more hard squeeze. The right fang breaks off too. I let out a long breath. I drop the limp centipede into the wide-mouthed specimen jar and twist the lid shut. I check my watch. 12:30. 1 hour and 30 minutes until the midnight convergence. Step 1, done. I lean against the bench and look at the centipede still slamming itself against the glass. Now I need to prep. The venom sac is still intact. If I swallow it and the sac ruptures before my awakening triggers, I die of poisoning before any of this even works. That would be a joke. I grit through the pain in my arm and start ransacking the lab, searching for something to neutralize the venom. Then police sirens scream outside. I freeze. I move to the dust-caked window and peer out. 2 squad cars are already parked at the west gate. Officers with drawn weapons advance toward the warehouse. I feel nothing. No panic. In a little over an hour, the law will mean nothing. Just scraps of paper in a dead world. I turn, pick up the blood-stained fire axe, walk to the warehouse door and lock it from the inside. Then I drag the heavy lab bench and wedge it hard against the door. Listen up, whoever's inside. This is Captain Zane, Precinct Commander for Riverside University. You are currently suspected of destruction of public property, illegal trespassing, and possession of a controlled weapon. Drop your weapon and come out now. I don't even hear him. I'm half kneeling in front of the grimy lab bench, holding a brown reagent bottle labeled high-concentration ethyl acetate. I stare at the black centipede hammering itself against the glass, and the corner of my mouth curves into a cold smile. Easy there, little runt. I'm putting you under. In my memories from my past life, the Venom Centipede, after evolving into a Calamity-class creature, developed extreme resistance to toxins. But right now, it is still a little runt. My expression stays flat. I soak a rag in water, press it over my nose and mouth, then carefully pry the jar lid open just a crack with the forceps. I pour the ethyl acetate slowly down the inside wall of the jar. The black centipede, still thrashing a second ago, convulses the moment the liquid touches it. Its black shell begins seeping a faint purple fluid. That purple fluid is exactly what I need, the primal venom bead. In my past life, countless awakened humans spent their entire lives chasing after this, the blood of the divine. A flicker of hunger burns through my eyes, but my hands move fast. I seal the jar shut and shake it hard, then the battering outside goes silent. Low voices replace it, and the cold click of weapons being readied. Captain, door sealed tight, probably braced from inside. According to the guard, the suspect is highly unstable, armed with an axe. If we don't breach by force, there's a risk of self-harm or arson. Prep breaching tools. Get the tactical unit in. Snipers, find your positions. I listen to them set up outside and check my watch. 1:15, 45 minutes left. Not enough. I breathe in deep. I make an insane call. I stuff the jar with the centipede into my bag, then pick up the fire axe, still dripping, and walk straight to the warehouse door. I yank the bench away and pull the door open. Several gun barrels snap onto my forehead and chest. Don't move, hands up, drop the weapon! Easy. I toss the axe on the ground, then reach into my bag and pull out the specimen jar. This is anthrax from the biolab. The second I smash this, every person on this campus, including all of you, will be dead within 30 minutes. Go ahead, try me. Every officer takes a step back. The color drains from their faces. My demands are simple. I slide the jar back into my bag, pick the axe off the ground, and right in front of their terrified faces, I turn and walk back into the warehouse. Close the door behind me. For the next 40 minutes, anyone who sets foot in this warehouse, even 1 foot, I stop in the shadows and look back. My teeth catch the dim light, and the smile that spreads across my face makes their skin crawl. I'll take this entire city down with me. The door slams shut. I sink back against it, sliding to the floor like the last air has left my body. 1:50. Outside, the sky begins to change. The blinding afternoon sun has turned hazy, stained with faint purple. The overture has begun. I get to my feet, walk to the lab bench, and pull the jar from my bag. I set it on the bench. Inside, the black centipede seems to sense something calling to it. Its hundreds of legs begin twitching on their own, and the shell along its back is cracking open, visibly, rapidly, exposing raw red flesh beneath. This is the sign of evolution beginning. The purple mist is a genetic override code from a higher dimension. It carries a massive concentration of active viral agents that force-activate ancient gene fragments dormant inside every living thing on Earth. The weak collapse and become zombies. The strong are rewritten and awaken. I'm out of time. The antennae on the centipede's head are sprouting tiny barbed spines. If I wait any longer, this thing will wake up fully. I breathe in deep and grab a scalpel from the shelf. No hesitation. I drag it hard across my left palm. Blood wells up. I press my bleeding hand over the mouth of the jar. Purple mist seeps through the opening and into the wound. A searing pain tears through me, like 1,000 needles crawling up through my veins. Outside, the blazing sky turns black in an instant, a thick, ink-dark purple. The purple mist roars down from the clouds like a living tidal wave, swallowing the entire university in seconds, swallowing the whole city. Everywhere the mist touches skin, people mutate instantly. Ah! Help me. And I have just pushed the last inch of the centipede's tail past my lips and swallowed. My whole body crashes to the floor, curled up like a shrimp. My skin blackens fast, then shreds away, revealing pale flesh underneath, hard and segmented like an insect's shell. I can feel it clearly. The centipede I swallowed is not fully dead. Its fragmented consciousness slams against my mind, trying to seize control of this body. Chaos, savagery, hunger. The impulses hit me in waves. I roar from the depths of my mind and forge that tide of rage into a mental blade, driving it hard into the centipede's chaotic consciousness. The writhing presence shatters instantly, dissolving into thousands of tiny sparks of light that pour into every inch of my body. Then a surge of massive energy explodes from my gut and floods through every vein in my body. My eyes snap open. I look at my hand. One thought, and 5 jet-black bone spikes punch out from my fingertips, sharp as drawn blades. A glowing panel materializes in front of me. Talent awakened, Calamity symbiote, Triple S rank, current stage, Tier 1 Venom Devourer, abilities, poison immunity, limb regeneration, exoskeleton hardening, Venom mastery. I close my fist, and a slow, deep laugh rumbles out of me. It worked. Ha! Then the warehouse door blasts off its hinges and slams into the wall. A twisted figure fills the doorway. Captain Zane. In the first wave of the purple mist, Zane had been in a state of extreme agitation. He breathed in deeply and skipped the standard zombie stage entirely, mutating straight into a Tier 1 mutant. Mutant Zane lets out a bestial roar. Those clouded eyes lock onto me in the center of the warehouse. I feel nothing. No fear at all. I roll my neck, it cracks. Perfect timing. I need something to test this freshly evolved body on. Mutant Zane roars again and charges like a runaway tank. He swings his mutated arm straight at my skull. I shift barely an inch to the side. The movement is so fast it leaves a blur in the air. Zane's fist hammers the concrete and punches a crater the size of a basin into the floor. Chunks of concrete fly. I'm already beside him. My eyes are ice. I shape my right hand into a blade and let the bone spikes extend from my fingertips. I draw them lightly across Zane's thick neck. No resistance at all. A thin red line appears across his throat. Zane's massive body goes rigid. It sways once. Then the body crashes down. One hit, one kill. I walk to Zane's body, open the chest with my bone spike, and pry out a small gray crystal, barely the size of a grain of rice, a Tier 1 soul core, the currency of the apocalypse, the fuel of evolution. I toss it into my mouth, crunch it like a piece of candy and swallow. A wave of warmth floods my belly. The tiny bit of energy I spent in that fight refills instantly. Not enough. Way too little. I look up toward the campus outside, already swallowed in purple haze, screams rising from every direction. A predator's smile spreads across my face. Let the feast begin. I pick up the fire axe, step over Zane's body and walk out of the warehouse. The campus I once knew has become a slaughterhouse. Students sprint and get tackled and torn apart by the people running right behind them. 3 freshly turned zombies catch the scent of living flesh and stagger toward me in a loose circle. I hold the axe loosely in one hand, letting the blade scrape sparks along the ground. 3 dark shapes lunge at me in a triangle formation. They are fast, but in my violet-red slit pupil eyes, every movement these monsters make is broken down frame by frame. They look like they're doing slow warm-up exercises. I watch them with cold detachment. All force, no balance, no technique. The instant one zombie reaches me, I press my right index and middle fingers together. The half-inch black bone spike on my fingertip erupts to a full foot in length. My silhouette crosses through the zombie as my right hand sweeps lazily upward. The zombie splits in 2, the cut so smooth it looks like polished glass. The other 2 freeze, but I don't give them time to think. I shift my footing and slip between them like a ghost. Venom devour. Corrode. I open my left hand and slam my fingers over the left zombie's face. My palm erupts with a thick burst of acidic purple mist. A sizzling, teeth-on-edge hiss fills the air. The zombie doesn't even get to scream. It dissolves into a puddle on the spot. At the same time, my right leg snaps out like a whip. The bone spike from my toe punches straight through the right zombie's knee socket, pinning it to the ground. I flick my spike, sever its spine, and dig out the crystal core inside. I pop both cores into my mouth. That warm rush of energy pulls a satisfied sigh out of me. Still not enough. These low-level scraps aren't even worth a snack. Then chaotic footsteps, and humans screaming tear through the mist ahead. This way, run this way. West Sector has fewer of them. Help! Professor Zhang got eaten. Stop pushing me. Get off! About a dozen students come pouring out of the academic building like headless chickens. Behind them, a massive crawler is closing in. Out in front of everyone, Leo clutches a mop handle and shoves the people beside him aside. Anything to get even a step ahead. The crawler's belly splits open, revealing a wide mouth lined with jagged teeth. A long tongue shoots out like a javelin and coils around the slowest student, a heavy-set guy at the back. Leo glances back. He doesn't stop. He runs faster. Out of my way! Leo spots me standing with both hands in my pockets blocking the path. He swings the mop handle at my shoulder with everything he has. I extend a single finger and stop the blow cold. Leo's eyes go wide, like he's staring at a ghost. Then I flick. The mop handle explodes into splinters. The shockwave rips back through his grip and snaps his arm at a 90-degree angle. Ah! Leo shrieks like a stuck pig and crumbles to his knees, clutching his broken arm. The students who had been running freeze at the sight and stop without thinking. I don't spare Leo a glance. My eyes cut through the crowd and land on the crawler, which is halfway through swallowing the heavy-set student. The creature senses something, a presence far above its rank. It spits out the half-eaten student. The mouth on its belly lets out a low, rattling hiss, and in those savage slit eyes, a flicker of fear. Since you've had your fill, how about you hand over your crystal core and call it even? I say it casually and vanish. The crowd just sees a flash, and then I'm already on the crawler's back. One hand grabs its greasy, tangled hair. The bone spike on my right hand spins like a drill and bores straight down through the top of its skull. The massive body crashes down, sending up a cloud of purple dust. Dead silence. The watching students stand there open-mouthed, staring at me on top of the creature's body. The terror on their faces shifts to blank shock, then into desperate burning hope. Oh my, you're incredible. Save us, please. Take us with you. I'm the student council vice president. Get us to the admin building, and I'll make sure the school puts you in for a commendation. They surge forward all at once, grabbing at my pants leg. Leo, broken arm and all, forces himself up off the ground and squeezes out a sweat-soaked smile. That was my bad back there. I didn't know who I was dealing with. I captained the basketball team. I'm strong, I'm useful, I'll follow your lead. I lower my head. Those violet-red slit eyes sweep across the crowd. Anyone caught in that gaze feels stripped bare, thrown naked into a freezer. Their very souls go cold. My voice stays quiet, but it cuts into every single ear like a blade. Who said you could make me your bodyguard? I reach into the creature's skull and pull out a dark green crystal core the size of a thumbnail. I wipe it on my shirt. I jump off the body and shove through the crowd and walk. Behind me, a wall of shrieking rises from the academic building. Louder, denser. The noise we made has drawn a full zombie horde. Good luck. I drop those 2 words and disappear into the haze. At the university's campus convenience store, dozens of zombies pound relentlessly against the glass. Inside, a crowd of survivors shakes with terror. At the center of it all, Vivian, the campus beauty, stands on top of a table, megaphone in hand. Everyone stay calm. I've already called my uncle outside campus. He's a senior military officer. The army is coming for us. All supplies must be centrally distributed. Guys hold the door, girls sort the shelves. Anyone caught hoarding food will answer to me. She's barely finished when, boom! The fire door at the back of the store takes a hit that shakes the entire frame, as if something just swung a sledgehammer into it. The guys lunge to block it, but the door is already kicked clean off its hinges. Through the dust and smoke, I walk in, fire axe in hand, dripping black blood. Everyone assumes a zombie just broke in. They scramble and crawl backward in a panic, but Vivian sees the face clearly. She can barely believe what she's seeing. Kai? In her memory, I was nothing. Quiet, broke, invisible. The kind of guy who'd steal glances at her with that pathetic mix of longing and shame, but the person standing here now radiates something. Raw bloodlust and killing intent. Thick as smoke. The pressure coming off me is more terrifying than the zombies outside. I ignore every stunned face in the room and walk straight to the high-calorie section. I tear open a pack of expensive imported dark chocolate and, without bothering to chew, swallow it whole. Then I crush a can of energy drink in my fist and pour it straight into my mouth. Vivian's top lapdog, Chad, wants to impress her. He puffs himself up and steps forward. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Supplies are being distributed fairly. Do you understand the rules? I keep going and tear open a bag of jerky. Rules? I turn around, jerky hanging from my mouth, and say between chews, whose rules? Chad squares his shoulders. Vivian's. It's a crisis. Everyone follows the chain of command. What you're doing is theft of communal property. Vivian snaps back to herself. She clocks the axe in my hand, the blood on my clothes, the posture of someone who has been in real fights. Her mind moves fast. If I can bring this maniac under my control, I can run this apocalypse. She rearranges her face into something soft and helpless and says gently, Kai, it's chaos out there. We need to stick together. You're clearly capable. Join my protection team and I'll make you second in command. Double rations guaranteed. I laugh. My shoulders shake. I walk toward Vivian. Chad tries to step in. I backhand him without looking and he goes flying, crashes into a shelf and blacks out before he can scream. I stop in front of Vivian. She has gone completely white, stumbling back onto the table, voice trembling. What are you doing? We're classmates, Kai. Didn't you used to like me? You. I reach up and grip Vivian's jaw. The bone spikes ease out just slightly and rest against the artery in her neck. I was blind back then, but in this world now, what the strong give is a gift, what the weak demand is a death wish. And right then, the crumbling glass wall of the store takes a hit like a wrecking ball. A zombie nearly 3 meters tall smashes through the barricade of shelves and crashes in. Tier 1 mutant. Bone Crusher. The crowd erupts. Everyone screams and floods toward the back exit. A brutal stampede. The Bone Crusher swings its massive fist and drives it straight down onto the slowest girl in the crowd, slamming her flat. Vivian shrieks and claws at my sleeve. Save me, Kai, save me, I'll do anything you say. I look down at her trembling in front of me. A cold amusement flickers in my eyes. You want to live? Then make yourself useful one last time. I grab the back of Vivian's collar and hurl her straight at the roaring Bone Crusher. The creature's instincts kick in. It swings its bone hammer at the incoming object and drives Vivian into the wall. In the 2 seconds she buys me, I move like a current of electricity. I'm at the Bone Crusher's side in an instant. I leap high, land both feet on its shoulders, and drive both sets of bone spikes into its clouded eyes. The Bone Crusher gets out half a scream before its body crashes down. I land, pull the crystal core out like I've done it 100 times, then sweep a large backpack off the nearest shelf and load every high-calorie item in sight into it. Done. I sling the bag over my shoulder and walk out through the wrecked front entrance, never glancing at Vivian barely breathing in the corner, or at the room full of half-dead survivors. Unhurried, unbothered. The zombie horde pours through the opening behind me. The store becomes a real slaughterhouse in seconds. After I leave, I notice my body running hot. It's the signal. After consuming the Venom Centipede and multiple soul cores, my genetic sequence is rebuilding itself at the base level. I need prey, not ordinary zombies, elite creatures that have undergone unique mutations in the purple mist, carrying rare gene fragments. My target is the botanical garden in the southeast corner of campus. In my past life, 3 hours after the purple mist fell, the old groundskeeper inside the garden underwent an extremely rare wood fusion symbiotic mutation. It turned the entire garden into a massive living trap. A fully armed tactical unit walked in and never fired a single shot. Every one of them ended up hanging from the trees as fertilizer. I stand at the garden entrance and breathe in deep. The pheromone concentration is high. My violet-red slit pupils contract slightly, and my vision shifts into thermal biowave detection mode. In this view, the garden is not a forest at all. It is one enormous living stomach. The root network below pulses like veins, and dozens of red heat signatures, mutated monkeys, move fast through the canopy. Come out, old man. I step inside. Without warning, the bushes around me begin moving without wind. Thick vines, as wide as a wrist, slide silently out of the soil behind me. Their tips split open, revealing rings of inward curving teeth like a lamprey, and they lunge for my limbs all at once. Too slow. I don't even turn my head. My spine shifts beneath my skin, shredding my shirt from inside. 4 jet black bone lances erupt from my back. They move like they have eyes, thrusting backward and pinning all 4 vines to the ground with perfect precision. Green acidic blood sprays from the severed ends as they writhe. You already said hello, so stop hiding. My bone lances brace against the ground like spider legs and slowly lift me into the air. I hover there and stare coldly at the massive ancient fig tree at the center of the garden. A human face carved into the trunk wrenches its mouth wide open, releasing a low boom like rolling thunder. Then, the whole garden erupts. The ground tears open, and hundreds of thick roots burst upward, crashing toward me like a tidal wave. Aerial roots weave together into a net above me. A vicious smile spreads across my face. I don't dodge the wave of roots bearing down on me. I charge straight into it. Venom Oath. Toxic domain. Centered on me, a deep purple mist detonates outward like a poison bomb. Every root that touches the mist, iron hard 1 second, rots into black sludge the next. My silhouette cuts through the haze like a bolt of purple lightning. The 4 bone lances on my back go into a frenzy, turning into a shredder, every swing throwing out clouds of splinters and green sap. Strike! I reach the base of the fig tree. My right hand becomes a massive toxic bone blade, and I bring it down hard on that human face. The tree wraith shrieks and thousands of roots rush together to form a shield, but the moment the blade cuts through, venom floods through the vascular system straight into the tree wraith's core. Every root that was thrashing goes rigid. Got you. I plant one foot on the trunk and drive my bone blade deep into the center of that face, and twist hard. Out comes a fist-sized crystal core glowing with jade green light. As the great tree wilts, the face lets out one final wail, and collapses into a heap of rotting wood. Every attacking vine around it goes limp and drops to the ground. I land, catching the still pulsing jade crystal core, wood-type life energy, perfect for healing the muscle tears from forcing out my bone lances. I don't hesitate for a second. I bite into the fist-sized crystal core like an apple and swallow. Immediately a massive wave of life energy floods every inch of my body. The torn muscle on my back, ripped open, forcing those bone lances out, closes up visibly, right before my eyes. I'm about to leave when a glint of metal catches my eye in the wreckage at the tree's base. I walk over and brush aside the rotting leaves, a tactical flashlight, an assault rifle, and a black tactical backpack. I open it. 3 frag grenades, 2 blocks of explosive, and a map soaked in blood. Scrawled across it, it's a nest. Do not approach. They are hatching. I narrow my eyes. The restricted zone on the map, the library. In my past life, the library was indeed a forbidden zone. It had been consumed by a strange fungal carpet. A spark of excitement crosses my eyes. It seems my rebirth has already started a butterfly effect. I turn and walk out of the garden. I move down the second-floor corridor of the academic building, and with every classroom I pass, I can hear low growling and wet chewing sounds through the doors. I ignore them. Right now I am at the critical threshold of evolution. My skin alternates between burning and freezing. Deep inside my bones, cracking sounds keep going off. I need to find somewhere to complete my Tier 2 evolution. I force myself through the pain and reach the multimedia lecture hall at the end of the hall. The doors are shut, tables and chairs piled up against them from the inside. Clearly there are survivors barricaded inside. I don't knock. I kick the door. Silence for a few seconds. Then the door cracks open and a wary face appears, but before the person can even see who I am, a hand shoots out and grabs them by the collar, and they go flying. I walk in. I pull the door shut behind me, and wrap a length of wire around the handle. About 20 students are huddled inside. They take one look at the dark purple killing aura rolling off me, and go completely silent. I don't acknowledge any of them. I walk straight to the front and drop my bag on the desk, then sit cross-legged on the floor. Everyone move to the back. Anyone who makes a single sound dies. The students scramble over each other to squeeze into the far corner of the room, pressing their hands over their own mouths. I close my eyes and begin channeling the energy within me. This evolution is a complete physical reconstruction. 3 options surface in my mind. System alert, high-purity life source energy and venom source energy detected. Initiating gene fusion. Select evolution path. Option A, agility type, shadow assassin. Option B, power type, titan. Option C, defense and command type, bone tyrant. In my past life, I went with the agility assassin build. Strong survivability, but when it came to massive zombie hordes and boss-level threats, I had nothing to offer in a straight-up fight. This time, I need to be a tank. I need to be able to take a hit and hit back harder, crush everything. I choose option C without hesitation. The moment the choice is locked in, the energy inside me goes completely out of control. My head snaps back. A guttural roar tears out of me. My shirt explodes off in pieces. My body begins to change in terrifying ways. Every trace of human presence fades from me entirely. What replaces it is something ancient and overwhelming. Evolution complete. Current rank, Tier 2 initial, Bone Tyrant. New abilities unlocked, Bone Armament, 30% full body coverage, Ancient Aura, passive, 300% strength amplification. I open my eyes slowly and stand. I roll my body out and the bone plates across my body click and lock into place. This feeling of power, I could get drunk on it. This is Tier 2 strength. Right then, the back door of the classroom explodes with a violent impact. Ah, monster! There's a monster at the door! The students in the corner break down screaming. Quiet. I shoot them a cold look, then turn to face the splintering door. It finally gives way, and a massive Tier 2 aberrant, a Stitcher, forces itself through the frame. The Stitcher spots me. All 3 of its heads let out eager, shrieking howls, and it charges, arm swinging. I stand at the front of the room and watch it close the distance. It drives its arm into my chest with full force, a ringing crack of bone against metal. Its claws scrape across my black bone armor and leave nothing but a faint white scratch. All 3 of the Stitcher's heads go still at the same time. That's it? I look down at the scratch on my chest. Something like disappointment crosses my eyes. Then I move. No technique, no flair, just a straight punch. My right fist cuts through the air, trailing a purple blur, and connects with the Stitcher's center head. The head detonates. The shockwave snaps its spine clean through. The lower half of the body rockets backward and punches half the wall down with it. I lower my fist and flick the blood off my knuckles. I turn to the students, all of whom look completely hollow with shock. I'm clearing out the rest of the building. I reach into my bag and pull out a combat knife. I drop it on the floor. This spot is safe for now. The knife is yours. And I step over the Stitcher's body and walk out of the classroom, leaving behind a silhouette that is equal parts terrifying and magnetic.